Hi there, I'm Geraldine Parkinson, and today I'm going to be reading you an extract of my latest novel. This is Cracker, published by Lemons and Gold. Chapter 1, Sunday. Michaela. I remember everything, you know. Well, everything except one particular thing, but we will get to that later. And it's lucky that I do. Someone needs to keep an account of things. This is a recount. It needs to be documented, and I am just the person to do it. I am Mayel, or Michaela, or Kayla. I've even been known to be called Mickey. Our names are ours, unless of course they are not. It's not like what they say about memory. Mine isn't untrustworthy. If a dog attacks me, my mind doesn't just focus on only the mouth and the teeth so that my memory recalls only the mouth and the teeth and nothing else. No. I remember not only the dog, but the breed, the colour of its eyes, the length of its fur, the texture of its coat. Shit, I can even remember the weather of that particular day. I'm telling you, my memory is accurate. So when I tell you I remember what happened to Papa, then I remember, even though part of me really wishes I didn't. And despite me beginning this on a Sunday, I'm going further back than that, right back to the beginning of the end of everything, and that memory starts off with white. It was a white day, a Sunday, unfriendly, suffocating like fog, sharpened icy whiteness. Home was nothing like where I ended up, some country with upside down seasons, hot when it should be cold. I mean, what kind of place has a hot Christmas? But the bit I'm remembering was before, when the seasons were the right way around and I lived in my own country. It was a day that everything went to shit, and really, I should have known then. That particular Sunday, the world had imploded with a smash of metal. Glass showered over me, forcing me to shut my eyes. Cold light fell on my eyelids. Momentarily blinded, I blinked. The window to my left was open and I could feel the wintry air. My skin prickled and my chest felt heavy with pain. Stiff, whimpering, the world had punched a hole in my life and I was getting sucked into the white oblivion. A silhouette fell across my face. Like a silent shadow, he moved swiftly, reaching me with inhuman speed, passing through obstacles like they were air. And although somewhere inside I knew him, I still didn't know him. His glasses were gone and his face was blurry, but I remembered his halo, a burning around his head like those pictures of Jesus in stained glass windows. He was aglow. He approached me. I smiled. My lips stretched too wide, creaking and splitting in the effort. I whimpered as a taste of copper spread across my tongue. Neon blue flashed in the corners of my eyes, and I cried as panic swelled within me. Through the forced, stuffed silence, I could hear his voice, shouting in the distance. My papa. He was talking to me, stroking my head, while his fingers worked on loosening the straps. I watched him move in slow motion. His mouth spoke in deliberate, slow movements. His face crumpled in what I later realized was fear. It took me a while to properly focus on what he was saying so I could understand him, but I managed to focus on Papa. It was then the whoosh of the fire flamed up around me. Time tripped, jerked, and sped forward with the roaring of the flames. I began a panicked, full-on scream. I remembered my Peppa Pig ball. Her face shimmered and then slowly went from pink to brown to black before exploding. Now I often think about what would happen to me if Papa wasn't there. Would I have gone from pink to brown to black and then exploded? Do people's bodies do that? The hot tongues spat and danced their way through the vehicle that I was trapped in, excitedly jumping from the back seats to my seat. And as they settled and grew roots, they became stronger and louder, and their bite was fierce. I turned around to face Papa. The doors were jammed. He'd gotten in through the smashed window. Papa! There were footsteps rushing around the car. People were yelling, and I couldn't work out what they were saying. The flames were no longer dancing and laughing, but roaring and smothering. Billowing black smoke was obscuring my vision as the choking fumes slipped effortlessly down my raw throat. Papa! His face was scratched and bleeding, but he still smiled. He still called me his bebe. And I knew then that he was going to get me out. He smiled. A tight knot in my chest relaxed somewhat, and Papa reached out his hand. I remembered how big his hand seemed. It swallowed mine. Papa was saving me. I wasn't going to be barbecued, and the car wasn't going to explode with me in it. Papa was here, and he was going to get me out. Are you okay? Shall we get out of here? I nodded abso-fucking-lutely. I remember his blue eyes. I remember his mousy brown hair, and I remember that he saved my life that day. And despite me remembering everything, I don't remember how I got out. It's gone. Don't know where, but I don't have access to those memories. Like it's locked away in a personal file or something, under restricted. Maybe for a good reason. Either way, I'm barred. That was the end of the good old days. The days where I had a normal mama and papa, where I had a home and school and friends. My brave papa got me out of the car, and that was the last time that I saw him. I would also like to thank people for sending in questions for me to answer. I have selected 5 and will do my best to answer them. The first question is from Antoinette. So Antoinette, thank you very much for your question. What is it like publishing without an agent? I think the publishing journey is a tough one. You have to really believe in yourself in order to get yourself out there. You don't have to publish through with an agent. You can try micro publishers, you can self-publish, you can also approach publishers with your work and see if it matches what they require. So you don't just need an agent to get published. Having said that, I still haven't given up on eventually securing myself a literary agent. Question 2 is from Genevieve. Thank you, Genevieve. What made you want to write and become an author? I have always wanted to write. I think when I was younger, my ambitions were I wanted to be a writer, I wanted to be a teacher, but I also wanted to be a superstar singer. But writing is something that is stuck, and I think it's stuck because number one, I enjoyed it and I have a passion for it. But I also loved reading, and reading regularly makes you a good writer as well. So essentially I found writing was something that made my heart sing, and it's something that I felt that I was good at. So regardless of whether I was going to get published or not, it is something that I would always do. Question 3, also from Genevieve. Where do you get your inspiration? I guess the world around me. You know, my mother is a big inspiration to me, Monica, and the life that she led and how she leads her life. I find that quite inspiring. My family, sometimes something will happen in the street or I'll see something and it makes me think of an idea, and that idea triggers a story. So it is quite, I get my inspiration from quite a few different places. How long does it take you to write a book? That was from Jessica. Thank you, Jessica. It takes quite a while. I think initially I get my idea down and write the book in its entirety, and then I leave it for a while, and then I come back to it and redraft and repolish. And the trick is when to stop redraft and repolishing and polishing your work. So it can take anything up to a year, 18 months to write a book and be happy with it. And my final question is from Patricia. How do you find time to write? That one is actually quite difficult because I do work full-time as a teacher, and I'm also a mother of 4. I'm very good at ignoring my children. That's something that I always say. I also write during Christmas holidays, summer holidays from school, and I write in evenings and at the night time, and I'm not precious about the quality of writing in my first draft. That's for the polishing up later. So initially when I'm writing, it's just literally about getting my ideas down in a coherent form. And so even if I'm tired after school or it's at night time, because I do like to write at night time when the house is quiet, I can still get those ideas down and polish them up later. Thank you everybody for your questions. I would like to say that in the comments there is a link to an interview that was done specifically for Cracker by Karen Louise Hollis. So this is just to remind you, this is my book Cracker, and it is out now, published by Lemons and Gold, and available on Amazon as well as other good bookshops. Thank you.